Whoa, baby, what is going on?
I'm so frustrated. I can't stand the holidays. It's so stressful. I don't understand. Isn't this supposed to be a happy time? This sucks.
Are you feeling overwhelmed with this holiday season?
Yes.
In today's video, we're going to talk about how we personally handle holiday stress, all of the stressful things that come with the holidays. Michelina was acting. In fact, she actually has some amazing tips. I've got some amazing tips that are totally going to help you beat all of the stress and overwhelm and anxiety and all the things that come with the holidays.
One of the things that I've noticed personally that is extremely stressful around the holiday season is the amount of money that you spend, right? It's insane. If you truly think about it, you end up spending maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars within 1 month that you typically don't spend each month or even throughout the entire year. So it just puts that much more pressure on you, especially the women in the household, because we're usually the ones that end up getting all the gifts for everyone, or they might come up with the ideas, but we're the ones that actually execute it.
Yeah,
so
I get all my gifts like super last minute.
like the day before, 3 days before, it can be really stressful. So I think for me personally, just on a life level, but especially with the holidays, you have to budget. So tip number 1 is budgeting. I know a lot of us don't enjoy hearing that word, right?
It's my least favorite word.
Yeah, but luckily I'm the financial, the budget person in this relationship, and I think it definitely balances us out. But my first tip when you're creating your holiday budget is decide what is your discretionary. How much money are you actually working with? And don't make an inflated number. I think sometimes, especially if we want to give for the holidays, you have this astronomical amount that's actually not possible. And then when you put pen to paper and you're ready to go get those gifts, you don't even have that much money. So
yeah, and I think it's like also you can really start your next year off on a bad foot. I feel like some people are always like playing catch up at the beginning of the year because they got a little too crazy, during the holidays. I'm not speaking from personal experience or anything, but yeah.
You're so right. And I think that's why it's important. Tip number 2 is to budget for gifts and activities, because that's the other thing that people kind of forget. You end up doing everything at once and you don't realize that those parties that you have, the cakes that you're baking, the gifts that you're buying, that all will it'll go overboard quick. And then you'll come into January and you're like, what the heck just happened? I spent $1,000 on a party, and it just, you don't even realize it. So after those activities and gifts are budgeted for, I would then make a list of who you actually want to get a gift for, because this is another thing. As women, we have such huge hearts, and we have kids that we want to give to. We have our parents, we have our spouse, right? We want to make everyone feel so special. And you can do that, but again, within your budget, because what happens in this time of year, I feel like there's a switch that goes off that says you have to be everything to everyone and show them how much you care about them by spending so much money, when that's not the case. You can determine who are my top priorities. And if I can't get to everyone else, it's okay. It's all right. I'll give you a little pat on the back. It's okay, right? So then after you've determined who those people are, what I like to do just is very helpful is then determine how much money you want to spend per person or per activity, depending on what is in your budget. So for instance, I might spend a lot more money on Sid compared to my coworker, right? And that's just because obviously he's my husband. I want to get him the most quality gift.
That's right.
Right? I want to splurge on him. He deserves to feel special, especially when you're older, baby, because when you get older, you don't usually get a lot of gifts.
Yeah.
Right?
My gift, the amount of gifts that I get it's gotten less for sure.
Yeah.
Compared to obviously when you're a teenager or kid,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just,
well, you need and want for less too, but still
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's why people don't feel as inclined to get you things, because they're like, you're an adult, you're fine. But if it's your loved one, your person, you want them to feel the most special, because guess what? You gon' if God forbid nothing happens to them, but you're probably gonna be with them again the next year. And they're gonna be like, you did me so dirty. I'm not giving you nothing next year. So just give with love to them. And then for your coworkers, I love my coworkers. A lot of them I consider to be really close friends, to be honest, but I also know that in terms of priority, I'm going to get them something that's a lot more efficient for me. But it's still something that it can be special for them, right? And don't feel like I'm being super cheap right now. I'm only getting them a card, or maybe I'm getting them candy, or just some kind of like really small edible item or whatnot. It's okay. Like I said, they're probably not expecting something anyway, because they know that you're my coworker, right? They're not expecting this massive gift. So yeah, just definitely determine how much do you want to spend per person.
Okay, so I'm gonna recap everything that I've heard so far. As it relates to the holiday stress of budgeting for gifts and buying gifts and affording gifts, you want to first pick out how much your discretionary income is. How much money do you have to spend, November, December, even forecast into January? What is your actual like discretionary income that you can afford to spend? Two, make a list of everyone that you'd like to give a gift to, everyone that you'd like to shop for, and then make that list in order of priority in terms of who's going to get the most spend,
Yep.
who's going to get the least amount. And also don't forget to factor in any other activities that could come up, any traveling that could come up, and factor that into your discretionary as well when you're looking at making that holiday budget. And don't be so hard on yourself with the gifts that you do give people, because after all, it is the thought that counts. And there's a lot of ways that we can make people feel loved during the holidays, but don't feel pressured to be everything be everything to everyone like you already feel any other time of the day that just gets any other time of the year that just gets amplified during the holidays.
That is exactly it. Thank you for recapping that.
Awesome.
But I do want to
Amazing
add one more
advice.
thing, baby.
Okay.
Just because I know for me personally, all of that sounds fine and dandy, but I want to give you some tangible options too that are budget friendly, just some resources. So a lot of us love Amazon. Amazon right now has a white elephant suggested list of gifts that are under $20. So if you want to grab things for your coworkers there, for teenagers, do that. It's available as soon as like December 1st usually. So go on Amazon, get those cheap but really cool gifts, especially they're practical things that people don't think that they want or need. I also don't want you to sleep on the 99-cent store. Go there and get bulk gifts. Get the 20 gift bags for $1, and then stuff them with candy, and then add a little note, and then people feel special. They feel thought about, and that's all that they really care about. Also, I encourage you to get candles, makeup brushes, gift sets that you find at Walmart, right? They're the prepackaged 3 items, slippers, mugs, Bluetooth speakers. You know what I really would love to? A blanket sweater. I use a blanket every single day when I'm working from home, just because I get cold very easily. Little things like that that don't break the bank. Mic drop. Go ahead, baby. Do what you gotta do.
Okay, so with all of these amazing tips that we've covered with budgeting, with, getting gifts for people, how do you manage your time? Like what are your tips for like time management? Because I know, prior to meeting me, you've always had so much going on.
I still do.
And you still do. So like, what are your best time management tips for, dealing with everything in the holidays and taking care of all of the things that you want to take care of?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think that you have to adopt that mindset of intentionality, right? And ensuring that you know exactly what you want to happen for your holiday season. It's not about what everyone else wants. It's not about what you think you're supposed to be doing. It's a matter of, what do I actually want to do? And that takes you sitting down with yourself and thinking, what is my priority? What are the things that are important to me, right? And then I think once you can determine what those are, and for example, it could be, I want to see Christmas lights with my family. I really want to get all of these gifts. I do want to actually bake something, because for me, I don't cook a whole lot, I don't bake a whole lot, but I would like to. And the reason why I don't is because I haven't really thought about it or put the effort. So I think just knowing what you want to do first is what helps. And then figure out your availability, right? Let's say that you want to have a game night and you want it to be holiday themed, but you just don't really know when to do it. Figure out your calendar for that last month of December and look and see what time slots do I have available to go shopping, to get the things that we need, to come up with the or the game ideas, and then factor in the party itself. So I would say plan ahead in terms of your calendar and your schedule. Very important.
So what I'm really hearing through all of this, y'all, is like, start with the end in mind. We realize that it's already like the first week of December. We're like halfway through, but like start with the end in mind. Think about December 25th. What do you want to have experienced? What do you want to be able to have, say in terms of the memories that you've created? Start with that. Start with that list of who you're getting gifts for, but also start with the list of experiences that you'd like to have, and like start looking at your calendar and your availability. The whole thing with me, when you say like intentionality, I think of Wayne Dyer, who says an intention is just an aim or a plan. And he says intentions are what creates your reality. So have an aim or a plan for the reality that you wish to experience, and start thinking about that today. Matter of fact, you could pause this video right here and start getting that budget together, start getting that, list of gifts together, or people that you want to shop for together, and write down, a handful of those experiences that that you'd like to have with yourself, with your kids, with your friends, with your family.
Yeah.
And then be intentional about like looking at your calendar. What are the days that I could make this happen, and actually, start touching base with people.
Oh, yeah. And the last thing that I think covers both shopping for gifts and for decorations, all the decor. You know how you go into the grocery store or any store pretty much at the end of October, they already have Christmas stuff out, right? The reason why is because they knew, they were prepared, they're being intentional, they understand that people are in the holiday spirit, and even though it may seem a little early, they're getting prepared for the chaos that's about to come through these doors, right? So I think you have to think of it that way too. If you go into a store and you see that they already have supplies out, that's your time. That's a mental note to be like, okay, you know what? It's time for me to prep. And don't do it last minute, because that's where the stress comes in. It's the last minute stuff that makes it that much more overwhelming.
If you're an online shopper, you also still want to do that kind of early, because our God bless our postal workers and all of our delivery workers, because I mean they get slammed with packages and deliveries, and people wanting things by a certain time, by a certain date, and like our emergency becomes their emergency. And yeah, now the last thing that I want to talk about as it relates to the stress of the holidays is, 2/3 of people, it's been studied, 2/3 of people who have mental health challenges state that their challenges get exacerbated during the holidays. You've experienced, past traumas. If you're someone who's already kind of struggling or wrestling with depression or anxiety, 2/3 of people say that those things get that much worse during the holidays. So the first thing that I just want to say for you is recognize and validate however you might be feeling, whatever might be coming up for you, whether it's stress, whether it's joy, whether it's loneliness, like whatever that is, go ahead and just recognize and validate that that's coming up for you. I spent 8 years active duty in the military. There were times where I would miss certain holidays, miss certain events. The base would get real quiet and real slow with, everybody traveling places. And that's your time to really just like acknowledge how you feel. Check in with how you're doing. It can get really, really crazy during the holidays, and you don't want to lose sight of yourself and your emotions. So just recognize and validate how you're feeling, first of all. And with that, don't forget to take time for your own self-care, throughout the holiday season. Make sure that you're still sleeping.
Make sure that you stick to going to the gym. Make sure that you ensure that you're eating good. I know there's like extra treats and stuff around, but like definitely make sure that you're factoring that in, you know, making sure that you're still having a healthy diet. Like your self-care becomes that much more important around the holidays, but you know, self-care becomes that much more important when you're dealing with mental health challenges. How you show up for yourself is everything. Is everything. And with that, I also want to give you the tip to really set realistic expectations. I think there's this idea, and you kind of spoke to this a little bit earlier. There's this idea that you got to be everything for everyone, and you want everything to be perfect. But like, there's no such thing as perfection.
No.
So like, set realistic expectations for how you can show up. You know, and that comes from being able to validate your own experience, your own emotions, and how you're feeling. You really know where you're at, so you can set realistic expectations for, you know, how you're going to show up in the holidays, and realize that you showing up as your best in any given moment is like more than enough. You don't need to do more than that.
I love that, baby.
Yeah. And
so good.
and then the other thing that I want to say is, you know, seek extra social support during this time. I recognize that the initial tendency when you're feeling depressed or when you're feeling anxious is to withdraw into yourself. As uncomfortable as it is, you actually want to push yourself to do the exact opposite. I'll be the first to tell you, like I didn't want to be this person at first. See what people are doing around you. See what friends are doing around you. See what coworkers are doing around you. And you can have a friend's Christmas white elephant gift exchange or like holiday party. Do something to reach out and connect with people. Think about who you've missed connections with, you know, over the past year, and shoot them a text message. But like, the last thing that you want to do is isolate. At this time, it's the season of being connected, and when you see everyone else connecting, that's just gonna make you want to connect even more, which I get it. It's going to like heighten those feelings of like, well, who do I have to connect with? You know, I don't have anyone to connect with, and I totally get that, but understand that there are people around, and seek that support, whether it's at work, whether it's, you know, your friends online, you know, schedule some Zoom calls, do whatever you can to remain connected with people, because it's going to help you so much. And share what your experiences are. Share what your concerns are with the holiday. Share, you know, what's stressing you out. Like even us, like me checking in with you. Hey, you know, like, how are you feeling with everything going on? Connect with people, and you'll be surprised to find that everyone is also stressed out. There's other people that are feeling lonely. There's other people that are like, I don't know if I got so-and-so the right gift. Like, everyone is going through it at the same time together. So like, make sure that you connect with people. But this is kind of like a double-edged sword at the same time. When I say connect with people, I don't necessarily mean be all up in everyone's social media. Because what that's going to do is that's going to have you fall into comparing your situation to others, which is never a good thing to do. But like, especially around the holidays, just know everyone is trying to flex and stunt on holidays, but a lot of it isn't what it's perceived to be. Some of it is, but some of it's not. And what you want to make sure you don't do is get so lost in what everyone else is doing on the internet, because you're going to lose yourself. You're going to feel like you're not enough. You're going to feel like everything that you've got going on isn't as amazing as it is. And just don't do that.
No.
Don't do that. Okay.
Go
ahead.
It's so funny that you say that, because the first thing that pops into my head is the Kardashians. I think a lot of us, if you follow them or not, it's like you always know about their infamous Christmas card. You always know about their epic decorations and their like 12-foot trees and all of these insane things that they do. And it's
I don't know any of this.
Well, of course, because you don't, you wouldn't. But I think it's more so us ladies, you know, we're definitely just kind of tapped in. But it's very easy to get lost in what everyone else is doing, and you're like, well, we don't have that. Or you might even, I have never done this, but I know women who have, where they'll be like, well, my husband didn't get me that, or my so-and-so didn't do that for me. Stop. Just stop. You know what I mean? It's based on you and your experience, and you can just enjoy what you have in front of you and be grateful, because it's just a beautiful thing that you even have a person or people or family to celebrate with. That's ultimately what this is about. Let's like just take it back for a moment and look at why we're actually doing what we're doing.
Yeah. So with that, I want to leave you with a couple more tips to take care of your mental health and during the holiday season, and it's volunteering, because one thing that the military has taught me, and now being a life coach has taught me, is it's very difficult to feel depressed or anxious when you're serving and taking care of other people. It's honestly quite impossible. So, look at how you can get involved in your local community, whatever that looks like. If it's, passing out food, passing out gifts, donating your time in any way, shape, or form, you're gonna feel so much better about yourself, but you're also gonna just feel so much more connected, and it's going to alleviate a lot of the things that, the negative things that you might be experiencing around this time of year, when you're showing up for other people. And that's like, probably out of all of this advice, that might be some of the best advice that I could give anybody, for whether it's the holidays or not. If you're someone who struggles with depression, if you're someone who struggles with anxiety, struggles with loneliness even, if you can give what it is that you're needing and what you're seeking to other people, you're going to get it back. That is how it works. So if you're feeling lonely, disconnected, and isolated during the holidays, go make someone else not feel lonely, someone else not feel isolated or disconnected. Go volunteer your time. Go show some love. Write some cards for some people. Pass them out. Do something that's going to spread a little bit of that holiday cheer, and you'll be surprised how that affects you. Now, with all of that being said, if you feel like, your depression is getting to be too much or too overwhelming, or your anxiety is getting to become unbearable, just know, don't hesitate to seek professional help if that's something that you need. Do not hesitate. There's no shame in seeking mental help from professionals, okay? Now, as someone who's been diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and PTSD, I had to raise my hand at one point and say, you know what? I need help with this. I can't do this alone. And just know that, if I can do it, you can do it. There's no shame in it. There's no stress in it. Let people know that you're having a hard time. Seek that professional help, and they'll be there to meet you where you're at this season, and help you still have a positive and happy holiday season. Do you have anything else, baby? Any last tips to help people with the stress of the holidays?
I think overall, I would like to say that ultimately, if you notice, a lot of the things that we talked about, they all start with you. They all start with you and your mindset and your perception of what the holiday season is supposed to look like. So I would just encourage you to be very focused on what you actually want your life to look like, your family's life to look like, the experience that all of you are having during this time, and do your best. And do your best to not beat yourself up. That's really it. At the end of the day, even if you don't follow all of these tips, it's fine, just figure out what works for you and be happy the best you can.
So if y'all have any questions about anything that we talked about as far as tips, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments and we'll get back to you. But also, what are some of your tips? How do you deal with the stress of the holiday season? Comment below.
Yeah.
Let us know, because we definitely don't have it all figured out, but we just wanted to share what has helped us and what works for us. But we want to hear from you. Drop your tips below. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.
Yes.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
Do all the YouTube stuff.
Do it.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
That was so fun.
Yeah, that was good.
I loved it.